Your comfort zone is not protecting you. It's just making sure that you never find out what you're actually capable of. And the most dangerous part, it doesn't even feel dangerous. It feels normal. It feels completely fine because everyone around you is doing the same. Same routines, same scrolling, same way of spending their Sundays. And when everyone in your world is comfortable, comfortable feels like it's enough. But at some point, and I think you felt this before, you stop looking at the people besides you and you start to look up to the people you actually admire. And when you do that, something shifts. Here's what I want you to sit with for a few minutes. What if life that you want is actually possible? And the only thing that stands between you and the actual goal is the things you're measuring yourself with are the wrong people. Stay with me because after this video, you have a 7-day plan that doesn't require you to blow up your whole life, but that makes you see it more clearly. And here's the thing, nobody tells you about comfort zones. They're not dramatic. You don't wake up one day and decide, okay, for the next 3 years, I'm going to avoid my potential. Like, it doesn't work like that. It happens slowly. You find what feels good, what numbs the noise, and what gets you through the day without much friction. Maybe it's listening to music on full volume the moment you wake up, or maybe it's checking your phone in the bed before your feet even hit the ground. Or maybe it's just filling every hour so that you can't even properly think. And none of this feels like an actual trap because you're not in pain, you're just comfortable. And the people around you are also comfortable, so the feedback loop that you're receiving is like, that's normal, this is fine, and you're doing okay. But here's what's actually happening underneath all of this, underneath the comfort. Because you're not resting, you're more like hiding. The comfort zone isn't evil. It was built for a reason. And at some point, those habits, the music, the scrolling, or like the familiar noises or the routines, were doing their jobs. And they were managing something. For example, stress, overwhelm, or like the pain that you didn't have the tools to process yet. So the first thing I wanted to realize is the shame around it. You weren't lazy, you were just surviving with what you had. But survival and growth aren't the same thing, so the coping mechanism at some point became like your ceiling. The problem with staying in your comfort zone is that it gives you a very limited view of what's actually possible. You look around and you see people roughly around your level. Same stress, same habits, and same timeline. And you think to yourself, okay, well, that's just how it is. Psychologists call this social comparison. That's when we compare ourselves horizontally to the person next to us, right? And when we do that, we always conclude that we're doing fine. But fine is not where growth lives. Something shifts when you stop looking sideways and start looking upwards to the people that you actually admire, that are doing the work, building the thing, showing up for themselves. And you stop scrolling past them and actually studying them. Not to feel bad about yourself, but to ask different questions. Not why can't I do that, but what are they doing that I'm not doing and what I'm doing instead. Because here's what you will notice almost immediately. The people that you admire, they're not doing all of it, okay? They're not superhuman. They've just made different choices on how to spend the hours. And that's a gap you can actually close. So here is exactly what I want you to do. 7 days, no dramatic overhaul. No, not all or nothing. Just 7 deliberate moves that by the end of the week makes you a slightly different person, and that's enough to start. Most people try to change before they've seen what they're changing from. They wake up motivated, redesign their whole life on a Sunday, but crash on Wednesday because they were only reacting on a feeling and not actually responding to data. They wanted to, your only job is to watch, okay? How you actually spend your time. And not how you think you spend it, but how you actually do it. Track your mood at different points of the day and notice what things you're using to distract you and when. Set a timer for 50 minutes. Sit somewhere quiet and ask yourself, what do you want? Not what you should want, but what you want your life to actually look like. Don't change anything yet. Just see clearly and honestly without judgment. One of the reasons why we stay comfortable is because we get paralyzed when we see the big goals. When we see like the staircase, we freeze. And instead of doing one step, we do nothing. Day 3, pick one goal. okay? And that goal, you break it down until it's laughably small, okay? Not go to the gym every day, but like put on your workout clothes at 7 a.m. Not start a creative project, but write one sentence into your document. The prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of your brain, gets stronger every time you follow through with a small commitment. And you're not building the habit yet, you're actually building the muscle that will make the habits possible. So, the comfort zone has a very sweet defense mechanism, which is that going forward feels riskier than staying put. So we delay. We wait until we feel ready. And as we know, we never quite ever feel ready. So for day 4, we make one visible action, something that makes going back harder than going forward. Maybe you sign up for something. Maybe you're telling a person what you're working towards, or maybe you're deleting the things that are eating your time, but whatever it is, it needs to be visible to you or for someone else. Because the moment you make it real outside your head, the identity starts to shift. You stop being someone who wants to change and you become someone who's changing. One of the quietest lies discomfort is telling you is that you're the exception, that growth is for other people. People with more time, more resources, or a different starting point. Day 5, you interrupt the lies with evidence, okay? Find a story. For example, a video, a book, or a podcast about a person who started from a hard place and shows discomfort, okay? Not to compare your journey to theirs, but to use their story as a mirror. Write down 3 specific things that you can apply to your own situation, because bravery is contagious when you let it be. Habits that only work when you're motivated aren't habits, they are performances. And the real test whether a new behavior is actually taking root is whether it can survive under your worst condition or not. Day 6, try your anchor habit. The one small daily action you chose on day 3 at your lowest energy moment. The point in your day where you would usually give yourself a pass. And if it survives that moment, it's real. Because it doesn't depend on feeling good any longer. And a habit that doesn't need motivation to exist, that's the beginning of a different kind of life. Most people set their goals about what they want to do or have, but research consistently shows that behavior follows identity and not the other way around. So when your self-concept hasn't changed, the habits won't stick. Day 7, you rewrite your goals in identity language. Not I want to exercise more, but I'm someone who moves her body more because she respects it. Not I want to be more focused, but I'm someone who protects her time. And then look at your environment. Who are you spending most of the time with? What content are you consuming? What daily input tells you about who you're becoming? And align all those things with the person you want to be. Because identity isn't something that happens to you, it's something that you choose, and you choose it again every day. Here's what I want to leave you with. Leaving the comfort zone doesn't have to look like burning everything down, okay? It doesn't need to be painful, loud, or dramatic. Sometimes it's just you opening the window after you were used to keep the curtains closed. Sometimes it looks like spending 15 minutes in quiet after you always spend your time in noise. The version of you that you actually want to be, she's not waiting for the perfect moment, and she's not waiting until you feel ready. She's built in those small moments when you chose just slightly different than you did yesterday. Start with day 1. Just watch, just see, and that's enough. Okay? So, bye-bye.